Jameson here with you on the commentary this morning. Delighted to say I'm joined once again by the lovely Laura Winter. We're going to be guiding you through this morning's action, and I think we're just about recovered from last night's real highlights, Laura.
It was an amazing evening of swimming last night. I really enjoyed watching it, commentating on it as well. The women's 200 freestyle, stunning swim from Ellie Faulkner. The women's 400 IM, to see Abby Wood, Rosie Rudin and Amy Wilmer all dip under that consideration time for Commonwealth Games, and also to see how much it meant to them was quite special indeed. A bit of disappointment as well, of course, in the men's 400 free, the men's 100 backstroke, and that really just shows the nature of swimming, that it's a cruel beast and hundreds really do separate it out.
It was a wonderful day. We're hoping for another one. Our thanks to our sponsors and partners, without whom this event would not be possible. Funding partner, Sport England. Official partners, TIA, Merthyr Pools, endorsed product Sports Systems, and host city Marketing Sheffield and Sheffield International Venues.
A light is ready to shine throughout Glasgow and Scotland once again, when 3,000 European athletes will come together before our eyes to bet our bests for bars to raise, where in one instant a lifetime of ambition lies. Don't miss the chance to be with them at this incredible event, to witness the beauty of one human's endeavour towards a single moment that will last forever.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, glad to have you with us here in the venue in Ponds Forge, and those of you joining us on the stream as well, a very good morning to you. Quick reminder for those of you in the venue, we do ask that we don't have any flash photography during any of the races, especially at the starts. It does distract the swimmers, and we thank you in advance for your compliance with this. No flash photography this morning inside the venue. That would be wonderful and is very much appreciated. So very excited to be here this morning. We've got men's 100-metre breaststroke and women's 100-metre backstroke to kick us off on the schedule this morning. Men's 200 free, women's 50 free is also in there alongside the men's 400 IM. We'll also see the women's 800 metres free, and we end with the men's 4x100 metres freestyle team event. Plenty to be getting on with this morning. Make sure you get us on Twitter. Don't miss the action on there. Swim England Twitter page, and the hashtag is SE Swimming. Those of you inside the venue, you can see that on the board with a lovely Twitter bird with a Santa hat on, just in case you'd forgot what time of year it was. So yeah, hashtag SE Swimming to get in touch with us, and the best ones will make it on a readout as well, so make sure they're quality. Here we go then, not too far away from the start of this morning Swim England Winter Championships 2017. Live from Ponds Forge, Team Jameson, Laura Winter with you this morning. And Laura, what are we looking forward to straight off the bat this morning?
So we've got the men's 100-metre breaststroke first event up this morning, followed by the women's 100-metre backstroke. Now in that breaststroke we'll see James Wilby. Now he just missed out last night, so we'll see him going again for a Commonwealth consideration at time. alongside Charlie Atwood as well. Of course, the man already qualified in that event needs no introduction here. I'll name him anyway. He's up for Sports Personality of the Year too. Adam Peaty, of course, already booked his seat to Australia. In the women's 100-metre backstroke, we're looking at Jessica Fullerlove, Chloe Goulding, Charlotte Evans, Lily Bosley, Anna Main as some of the contenders to dip under that consideration time for the Commonwealth Games of 1:01.25. Lizzie Simmons already selected within the squad. She won the British Summer Championships in 59.72. So hopefully we'll see a few more swimmers swimming their way into Commonwealth Games contention this morning, as well as some of the brightest junior swimmers step it up to that next level and rub shoulders amongst some of the brightest talents that Swim England and indeed Canada, Belgium, Ukraine, Qatar and the USA, all of who have joined us here at the Winter National Championships, have to offer.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get ourselves underway this morning, but before we meet our swimmers, there's another group of people we need to introduce. Please welcome to poolside our referees and their team of technical officials. Your starters for this morning's session are Robin Butterfield and Victor Guerra. Your referees for this morning's session are Helen Akers and Stuart Murray. Officials, you may be seated. So not too far away from the start of this morning's session. We open with the men's 100 meters breaststroke. We have a total of 7 heats in this one. We obviously start with heat number 1 coming up very shortly, but in terms of what we're looking for in a Commonwealth selection sort of angle, Laura, we already know who's qualified. No prizes really for guessing who that is. Adam Peaty has already made a time in the men's 100 breaststroke. Who are we looking out for later on in these heats?
Yes, and he's made it by some distance as well. 57.13, of course, Adam Peaty's personal best, the first man under 58 seconds and well under as well. The time today, though, we are looking for 59.98. Now, James Wilby's coming in on a 1:05, I believe. So he has got a little bit of work to do, 700s outside.
Here we go then, first event of the morning, event 201, the men's 100 metre breaststroke. This is heat number 1. And away we go. Lane 0, it's Ayatobi Laguda of Hatfield. 1 is Lewis Binning from Romford Town. In 2 from Mount Kelly goes Sander Aponyi. 3 from Deepings is Lewis Metzeler. 4 from Plymouth Leander, Joseph Thompson. 5 is Nova Centurions, Dominic Bulls. In 6 from Wickham District is Christopher Sims. Jamie Owen goes for Amersham in lane 7. Finn Jeffrey from St Phoenix School goes in lane 8, and completing the field in 9 from Elmbridge is Cameron White. And Cameron White is first to the touch at the 50, 32.75 as they make their way home. Thompson in lane 4 was just behind him. Toby Laguda not too far away as well. As they come back towards the final 25 metres here, fairly even spread across the pool, and starting to make his move in lane 4 is Joseph Thompson, just edging ahead of the rest of the pack. Not by a lot, but by enough as they come towards the final 10 metres. Still pressure being applied on the far side in lane 9 by Cameron White. He may well get second, but no doubt about first. That's Joseph Thompson. 1:10.51. Cameron White in the end was third. Christopher Sims just nudging ahead of him in lane number 6. Lewis Bidding nudged out to fourth. But a good swim there from Joseph Thompson to take the win in 1:10.51. And this is heat number 2. And off we go with our second heat. Going this one, lane 0, is Harvey Freeman of Northampton. Oliver Cashin from City of Cambridge goes in 1. Joshua Bristow from Medley goes in 2. In 3, Dakota Rabatali from Burnley is in 3. 4 is Matthew Lyons from City of Leeds. 5, Luke Fankhauser from Guildford. 6 is Royal Wolverhampton's Matthew Harris. 7, Bryn Cooser from Bishop Stortford. Benjamin Foster goes in 8 for Stockport Metro. And in 9 is Dylan Gallagher from Taunton Dean. Quick start being made in lane 4 by Matthew Lyons of the City of Leeds. He's marginally ahead, not by a huge amount. Impressive start being made in lane 2, in particular from Joshua Bristow of Medley. And still a little way to go here, though, in this one. They're coming towards the final 25 metres. Still leading is Matthew Lyons in the yellow hat of the City of Leeds. Really good swim in the outside lane. In lane number 0, that's Harvey Freeman of Northampton. He's right up there with the leader, and coming through now in the final 15 metres is Luca Fankhauser in lane 5. They're not going to have enough, though, to stop Matthew Lyons, who led from the front and took it home. 1:09.66 for Matthew Lyons. Decent swim from him. About a second or so inside his entry time, which he'll be pleased with. Checks up at the scoreboard. Yeah, pretty happy with that. There's the results of heat 2. Confirmed Matthew Lyons takes the win, 1:09.66. Heat 3.
Heat 3 of 7 then hits the water and underway. In lane 0, Jackson O'Rourke, Northampton. Lane 1, Ben McAvoy, City of Salford. Lane 2, Drew McGregor, Bournemouth. Lane 3, Sam Perkins of Team Ipswich. Fastest entry into this heat, Jack Goodwin of Portsmouth swims in lane 4. Daniel Buckley in lane 5 for Halton. Thomas White swims in lane 6 for Nova Centurion. Next to him, Ryan Wilcox, also of Nova Centurion, swims in lane 7. In lane 8, Pravin Mahendra Kumar of Bromley. And in lane 9, completing the lineup here in the pool, Samuel Norton of Truro City. And it's following the script at the moment. Goodwin turns quickest, 33.04 his time. Ben McAvoy also having a strong start, 33.13 over the first 50 with Jackson O'Rourke in lane 0 and outside lane there, also getting the touch into third at the 50-metre mark. And as they come up to the wall here, it's still eyes on that centre lane, but now coming through very strongly indeed is Drew McGregor in lane 2. He was 5th at the touch. Can he get this one now? He can. 1:10.30 from McGregor from lane 2. Thomas White came through to take second place there, and Goodwin takes the third place. Some scenes of perhaps disappointment there for Drew McGregor. 1:10.3 his time. Thomas White 1:10.57. Jack Goodwin 1:10.68. A close finish there indeed. Results confirmed, we move on to heat number 4. Heat number 4 underway, nice and cleanly. In lane 0, Ethan McNeil, Team Bath. Lane 1, Charlie Trotman, Guildford City. Lane 2, William Ellington of Millfield. Lane 3, William Mitchell, also Millfield. James Watson swims in lane 4 for Plymouth Leander. Matthew Rogers of Bromley goes in lane 5. Thomas Lehman, RTW Monson, swims in lane 6. Cameron Williams of Dartmoor in lane 7. Lane 8, Finian Trehane, Bournemouth. Lane 9, Billy Wotton of Ellesmere. And as they come up to the touch-in, James Watson, he comes into this heat fastest, 1:05.93, his entry time. He touches in 30.97 at the 50 with the 2 men either side of him, keeping him company for now in 2nd and 3rd. That's Matthew Rogers and William Mitchells, and you can see the spearhead formation forming here as they come down the final 10 metres or so under the flags. A strong challenge though from the outside lanes up in lane number 8. Who's going to get the touch? It is Matthew Rogers who gets it, 1:06.75. William Mitchell takes 2nd, 1:06.99. James Watson 3rd, 1:07.22. But Cameron Williams there in lane number 7 got that touch for 4th. Results confirmed. We move on to heat number 5.
Well, there we go then on heat number 5. And away nice and quickly, fittingly enough, is Thomas Speed in lane 0 from the city of Sunderland. Jasper Lai goes in 1 for the city of Bristol. Joel O'Halloran from Derwentside is in 2. Callum Smart in lane 3 from the city of Oxford. In 4, it's Andrew Willis from Bath. In 5, Chris Steeples from Devonshire. 6 is Likith Pramer from Inspire. 8 is Gregory Butler from the city of Derby. And in lane 9 is Jonathan Milner from the city of Leeds. And away nice and quickly, and into his stroke, and coming back pretty speedily is Andrew Willis. No great surprise at the summit from Bath. Very, very elite breaststroker is Andrew Willis. Looked pretty good in the 200 yesterday. He's carrying on that form into the 100 today as he makes his preparations for some big events later on in 2018. He touches in 61.61, pretty decent time from Andrew Willis as well. Chris Steeples in 62.52 comes in 2nd place. 3rd comes from the outside, that's Jasper Lai in 63.81. But taking the win there is Andrew Willis. And a little bit of a hug for Chris Steeples as well there. Good swim from those two in particular. But Andrew Willis takes the win in heat number 5. Moving on now to heat number 6. And away we go with heat number 6. In lane 0, it's Harry James from Abingdon Vale. 2 Plymouth Leander swimmers next. It's Adam Chillingworth in 1, Marcus Gardner in 2. In 3, from Loughborough, it's Edward Baxter. In 4, Charlie Atwood from Bath. In 5, Lawrence Palmer of Putteridge. In 6, Robert Lancaster from Loughborough University. In 7, from the city of Oxford, it's Conor Bryant. 8 is Sebastian Stewart from Sevenoaks. And 9 is Jack O'Brien from the city of Manchester Aquatics. Quick start then being made by Lawrence Palmer. He'll do that. He's unbelievable over 50. 100 is about his limit, but he's pretty good over it as well. Really good start from Palmer of Puttridge in 5. Charlie Atwood in lane 4 will come back at him over this back 50, and indeed he is. Close race then between these two in the middle lanes as they come towards home. About 15 meters to go, and Palmer is holding on here as best he can. I think he might just get there. It might come down to the touch. And I think it is Palmer. It is indeed. Really good swim from Lawrence Palmer. 61.21 is very nicely done indeed. Charlie Atwood is good for second place. Edward Baxter in third on 63.27. Robert Lancaster in fourth. Going to seed there for the most part in terms of position, but a fine swim from Lawrence Palmer of Puttridge. 61.21. Final heat then, it's heat number 7. And away we go in heat number 7 then. In 0 from Soundwell, it's David Trickett. In 1, it's Oliver Taverner from Mount Kelly. In 2, Toby Mackay, champion from the city of Oxford. Luke Davies goes in 3 from Bath University. 4, it's James Wilby from Loughborough. In 5, City of Oxford's David Murphy. In 6 goes Harry Devlin from York City. 7 is Neil Redmond from Portsmouth North Sea. In 8, Yaron Gerber from Barnet Copthall. And in 9, it's Loughborough University's Edmund Ashton. Turning first, no great surprise, is James Wilby, quickest entrant into this event. He was very, very unlucky to miss out on his time that he wanted in the 200 last night. He is back to it though this morning in the 100, and he's looking like he's not wanting to mess around. Going nice and quickly in lane 4 is James Wilby, looking pretty good as he comes into the final 15. Only one offering any real sort of challenge is David Murphy in lane 5. But this is James Wilby's every single stroke of the way. What's the time? 59.99, go on. Sub 60 in the morning from James Wilby. I said he wasn't messing around. And that is a fine swim from James Wilby. Only 100th of a second outside the consideration time, and it's still the heats. We'll have to wait for the final, James. It'll come, it'll come. Great swim from James Wilby, 59.99. And he'll have more in the locker for the final tonight. Quickest in qualification, no great surprise. James Wilby from the Loughborough National Centre. Super swim, going sub 60. So on the scoreboard in the venue, you can see the event summary and the quickest 10 in this race. We will have an A and a B final, don't forget, from every event except the relays later on this evening. Looking forward to seeing some of our breaststrokers in those. If the heats are anything to go by, they're in fine form. As you can see, the backstroke ledges are being put in here at Ponds Forge, which must mean we have a backstroke event coming up, and the clue is in the backstroke ledges. We do indeed. It's event 202, the women's 100 meters backstroke is our next event. We have 6 heats of this one. And as ever, we start with heat number 1.
Heat number 1 of the women's open 100-metre backstroke underway nice and cleanly. In lane 0, Hannah Slater of Newcastle. In lane 1, Lara Richmond of Reading. Lane 2, Alina Willis of Newcastle. Neve Page goes for Newcastle in lane 3. Charlotte Wynne-Jones, City of Milton Keynes, the fastest entrant here, 106.66 her time in lane 4. Heather Whitcomb swims in lane 5 for Soundwell. Millie Jo Garrett of York City swims in lane 6. Lane 7, Sophie Freeman of Colchester. Lane 8, Amelia Moole of Romford Town. And Steph Millwood, a name I'm sure you're familiar with, swims in lane 9, an S8 swimmer from Corsham. At the touch, it was Heather Whitcomb of Soundwell who took this one out, 31.5 at the 50. Amelia Moole coming through 31.96. And Alina Willis in lane 2 also up there as well. And as they come into the wall, it is still those swimmers who are looking handy. We've got Neve Page coming through 105.81. Heather Whitcomb, she takes second after her fast start, 105.91. Sophie Freeman takes third in that heat, 106.94. Steph Millwood coming in then, 114.34 for the para swimmer. As the ladies are asked to clear the pool, and we see the results confirmed up on the scoreboard for you at home and on the venue screens here too. We move on to heat number 2. Heat 2 of 6 then underway in the pool. In lane 0, Ellie Foster of Hastings. Lane 1, Lydia Smith of Gainsborough. Lane 2, Alicia Maestri of Bristol Henleys. Lane 3, Olivia Butler, City of Bristol. Lane 4, fastest entry, Mimi Morley is at City of Oxford. Alice Barton swims in lane 5 for Team Bath. Lane 6, Maisie Easter, City of Norwich. Lane 7, Jocelyn Cosmostas of Leatherhead. Lane 8, Faye Francis of Winchester. And in lane 9, completing the lineup here, Tia Ward, City of Leeds. Fastest entry into this is Mimi Morley is at City of Oxford swimmer. She touches in 31.53 at the 50. Her entry time of 105.83, so a strong start from her, but also going very well indeed is Ellie Foster down in lane 0, and also Tia Ward right at the top of the screen. And it's the outside lanes who look like they might get this over the centre lanes, and it is indeed Tia Ward who touches first, 104.91. Ellie Foster a second or so back. Ellie Foster in lane 0 there coming in second, and Mimi Morley is at third from lane 4. Shows you just about anything can happen in the heat swims, and some happy looking swimmers in the pool as well. Results confirmed. We move on to heat number 3.
go in our next heat. This heat number 3. Olivia Burrow goes in lane 0 for Exeter City. Charlie Jones in 1 from Royal Wolverhampton School. Soraya Evans from Cambrai goes in lane 2. In 3, it's Imogen Mears from Bromley. 4, Rachel Anderson of Millfield. In 5, it's Mia Slevin from Devonshire. In 6, Honey Osrin from Plymouth Leander. In 7, Emily Eiley from the Borough of Waltham Forest. In 8, it's Yeoville's Harriet Watts. And in lane 9, it's Sophie Shaw from Mid-Sussex. Imogen Mears took it out in lane 3, 31.48. Just behind her was Sophie Shaw in lane 9, who's swimming pretty well as well. Still going is Sophie Shaw in 9. Coming through now, though, in lane 5 is Mia Slevin from Devonshire XL, looking like she might just have enough to hold on here. It'll be a fairly close finish, but it will be Mia Slevin of Devonshire who does indeed get the touch. 64.97. Honey Osrin in 65.38 in 2nd place. Rachel Anderson getting 3rd, and Emily Eiley just pushing Sophie Shaw out into 5th place in the end, after she went out in the first 50 very, very quickly. But your winner for heat number 3 is Mia Slevin of Devonshire XL. Honey Osrin and Rachel Anderson were 2nd and 3rd as we reach the halfway point of these 100-metre backstroke heats. Heat 4.
Saying about routine and part of that there, because you're out your routine this morning, everything goes haywire.
And away we go in our next heat. This is heat number 4. Chloe Hannon from City of Peterborough goes in lane 0. Caitlin Bergin of Stockport Metro goes in 1. In lane 2, it's Martha Dooley from Colchester. Lily Bosley of City of Sheffield goes in 3. Jess Fullerlove from the Bath National Centre goes in 4. Kayla Sanchez of HPC Ontario goes in 5. Molly Allen from Loughborough Uni goes in 6. Lauren Cox from City of Coventry is in 7. Alicia Wilson from Guildford City goes in lane 8. And Charlotte Fletcher Stables of Northampton is in lane 9. And quick moves being made. No real surprise here by Jess Fullerlove of the Bath National Centre in lane 4. Being pushed all the way there by Kayla Sanchez, the Canadian from HPC Ontario. Going to be a close finish, this one, and Sanchez is indeed finishing very, very strongly. Super back 50 from her. Even more impressive is the final 25, and she's going to get the touch as well. Really good swim from Kayla Sanchez of Ontario. 101.14. Jess Fullerlove just 0.2 of a second in behind her. 61.34. Fine swim from Jess Fullerlove there. She'll be pretty happy with that. It's not far off the consideration time that she'll be looking to hit later on this evening for those Commonwealth times. But that is the results of Heat 4. It's Kayla Sanchez, the Canadian, who wins it, Jess Fullerlove, and Molly Allen, 2nd and 3rd. Heat 5.
So an empty lane then in the middle of the pool as we read through the lineup here in heat number 5. Lane 0, Kira Barber of Wickham District. Lane 1, her teammate of Wickham District as well, Amelia Sansom. Athena Clayson swims in lane 2. Charlotte Evans swims in lane 3 for Loughborough University. No Georgia Davis in lane 4. Lane 5, Anna Main of Woking. Lane 6, Laura Stevens, Plymouth Leander. Lane 7, Eleanor Baldwin, City of Derby. Lane 8, Daisy Platt, City of Leicester. Lane 9, Eleanor Mitchell, also swimming for the City of Derby. Anna Main then touches first, 29.69. And she has got a body length or so ahead of the rest of the field in that golden lane in the middle of the pool. No Georgia Davis for company in lane 4, but she is not letting that get in the way of her race plan here. Seeing some moves now coming from lane 3 and lane 2. Charlotte Evans and Athena Clayson. But still, this is going all Anna Main's way, coming up to the wall. She touches 102.48. Laura Stevens comes through 103.41 for second. Charlotte Evans 103.52 takes third position. Don't forget that consideration time, 101.25 for the Commonwealth Games. Jessica Fuller-Love in the heat before, just 1100ths outside, so that's going to set up a very exciting final indeed. As these ladies clear the pool, we see the results confirmed on your screens at home and here in the venue as well. We move on to our final heat, heat number 6. Our final and fastest heat then of the women's 100-metre backstroke. Lane 0, Jessica Shaw, Birmingham University. Lane 1, Chantel Austin, Blackpool Aquatics. Lane 2, Phoebe Lendeyu of Newcastle. Lane 3, Chloe Golding, City of Manchester Aquatics. Lane 4, coming from HBC Ontario, Canada, Taylor Ruck. Lane 5, Cassie Wild of Ellesmere. Lane 6, Lauren Quigley, City of Liverpool. Tegan Drew swims in lane 7 for Plymouth Leander. Caitlin Hubbard for City of Birmingham goes in lane 8, and in lane 9, Pia Murray of Ellesmere. And it is Taylor Ruck who looks in fine form at these Winter National Championships, 29.65 at the turn. Phoebe Lendeyu with a very fast start indeed, as was Lauren Quigley too. So keep your eyes on lane 2 and indeed lane 6 as well as they come up to the wall. It's all Taylor Ruck's way though. She is looking so strong. Watch the clock as well. 1:00.55. Chloe Goulding took the second spot there, 1:01.78, not far at all outside that consideration time for the Commonwealth Games. Lauren Quigley, 1:02.18, takes the third spot, setting up an almighty tussle in the final tonight. Close for some of our swimmers into that final for the consideration time for the Commonwealth Games. Results up on the screen here in the venue and on the stream for you at home. A great event then in the women's 100-metre backstroke. 6 heats, you can see there the fastest swimmers as well.
The event summary up on the scoreboard, and some quick swims there in the 100-metre backstroke, we must say. The Canadians in particular looking pretty good. They're going to offer some stiff competition to the likes of Chloe Golding, Lauren Quigley and Jess Fuller in particular. We're looking forward to seeing that final later on. I'm sure it is going to be pretty impressive indeed. Make sure you join us on that one, 4:50 live on BBC Sport. If you're not in the venue, you're not going to want to miss it. Our hashtag, by the way, is hashtag SE Swimming. Do get in touch with us on Twitter. We will be keeping an eye on that timeline. Shout out to RTW Monson and Royal Wolverhampton School who are getting in touch to support their swimmers. Hashtag Blue Army, says RTW Monson. They're swimming pretty well. Next event then is the men's 200-metre freestyle. We start, as ever, with heat number 1. And away we go with heat number 1. In lane 1, it's Kieran Thomas of Newcastle. In 2, Herbie Kinder from City of Peterborough. 3 is Aaron Beckford from Derwent side. And in 4, Ellis Stanhope from Sevenoaks. In 5, Joshua Williams from Wickham District. In 6, from Stafford is Finn Nicol. In 7, it's Pierce Greening from Cockermouth. And in 8 is the S14 para-swimmer from UEA Norwich, Jordan Catchpole. Very quick swimmer indeed. How can he go in this 200-metre freestyle? Para-swimming at the Commonwealth Games as well. They've got the European Championships in Dublin next year as well for the para-swimmers. They weren't in Mexico this year at the World Championships just gone. So next year is set to be a big year for our para-swimmers, and they're starting to prepare for it right here at this Swim England National Winters. We're going to have a close finish here. A bit of an outside smoker in lane 1 in particular. Kieran Thomas of Newcastle just pipped to the post by Joshua Williams in lane 5 on the touch at the 100. Good start this, in particular, from Kieran Thomas of Newcastle. Didn't quite get the underwater he'd wanted, though, into the back 100, and Joshua Williams, well, he certainly did. He's away nicely for Wickham District in that green hat, going along very smoothly indeed. He leads by about a body length older than the rest of the field here as they turn into this final 50 metres. 1:27.51 the split. Finn Nicol is second. Kieran Thomas still in 3rd position. What sort of time can we see here from Joshua Williams? How quick can he go? His entry time was 2:00.8. A little bit outside of that, but not too far, I don't think. He might even be just inside it. Really good swim, this. That's superb from Joshua Williams. 1:58 on the money. Really, really good swim, that. Finn Nicol, 1:58.57 in 2nd. Herbie Kinder 3rd. Kieran Thomas was 4th in the end. Jordan Catchpole in 8th position. 2:05.83 his time. But what a fine swim that was from Joshua Williams. 1:58 on the money, over 2 seconds, nearly 3 seconds off his entry time. He'll be delighted with that. Confirmed results are available on the board for you and on the stream at home. Heat 2 is on the way for you next.
Fast and ferocious start then to heat number 2 in lane 0, Pietro Falconi of Winchester. Lane 1, Lewis Binning, Romford Town. Lane 2, Daniel Johnson of Royal Wolverhampton. Lane 3, James Cooper, Basden Phoenix. Swimming in lane 4, Joseph Russell, Mount Kelly. Lane 5, Jake Moxham, City of Cambridge. William Barber swims in lane 6 for Lincoln Vulcans. Ayotobi Laguda of Hatfield swims in lane 7. Lane 8, Kaio Tanner of Ellesmere. And in lane 9, Reed Jones, Plymouth Leander. And quickest through the first 50, 26.87. Joseph Russell touches in for Mount Kelly. Jake Moxham turns 26.90, and Reed Jones having a strong start from an outside lane there. He's up in certainly the top half of the pool at the moment. Joseph Russell then 56.81 at the halfway point. He turns for the 100, and now is where it really starts to hurt. This is where people make their moves in the 200-metre freestyle, and if you've gone out too fast, this is when you will know about it. This third 50, all important before you turn on to that final length for home. And now a real battle developing between those middle 2 lanes and the 2 lanes closest to them as well. Daniel Johnson and James Cooper, Joseph Russell, Jake Moxham. Don't discount though Reed Jones at the top of the screen. Either that Plymouth Leander hat just sneaking into shot. He could possibly move up into 3rd place here. That blue hat of Daniel Johnson going very well indeed, but all eyes at the moment on Jake Moxham, City of Cambridge swimmer in the centre of the pool. Those lime green shorts, he touches in. 1:58.41 for Moxham. Johnson takes 2nd, 2:02. And it was 3rd for Reed Jones. He just snuck in a brilliant final 50. 2:37. for the Plymouth Leander swimmer up in the outside lane. Results confirmed, and we move on to heat number 3.
And off we go then with heat number 3 in 0. From the city of Sheffield, Eugene Brooks-Clark goes in there for them, and Hugh Williams is the man in lane 1 from Millfield. In 2, it's William Bell from the city of Leicester. William Cole from the city of Bristol goes in lane 3. Matthew Richards from Royal Wolverhampton School goes in lane 4. In 5, it's Jamie Scholes from the city of Peterborough. His teammate Miles Robinson-Young is in 6. Jacob Davies from the city of Birmingham goes in 7. In 8, it's Northampton's Edward Mildred, and Samuel Salih from the city of Sheffield goes in lane 9. Quick start being made, in particular down the middle lanes. Lane 3 going really nicely. That's William Cole from the city of Bristol. Matthew Richards in lane 4. Up with him, Jamie Scholes as well. He's currently in 3rd place, but with a little bit of work to do alongside William Bell in lane 2 from the city of Leicester. That's your front 4 as they turn at the 100. Cole leads from Richards, from Scholes, from Bell. Turning back towards the diving pool end here at Ponds Forward. Really good start from William Cole in the black hat there from the city of Bristol. Can he keep it up is the question. You can see there the swimmers staggered in a line, starting from William Cole. Turning in 2nd is Matthew Richards. 3rd is Jamie Scholes. William Bell not a million miles back, but he has a lot of work to do here as they turn into the final 50. Impressive swim this from William Cole. He's taken this out right from the very start, and he should have enough to hold on here. Last 15 meters, can he do it? Of course he can. Really good swim this from Cole. Time on his side as he takes the touch. 1:51.27. Good swim from William Cole. 2nd place, Matthew Richards, 1:53.14. But William Cole there with a really good swim. 1:54.40 was his entry time. That's 3 and a bit seconds off that. That's impressive. 1:51.27, the winning time in heat number 3. And we move on now to heat number 4.
Heat 4 nice and cleanly underway. No lane 2 for you in this one. Lane 0, William Riley, Bath University. Lane 1, Max Tamblin of Hackney. In lane 3, Kieran Bird of Millfield Ross Hill swims. For Loughborough University in lane 4, fastest entry into this heat. William Foster swims for the city of Derby. James Wilkes goes in lane 6 for Leatherhead. In lane 7, Joel Thompson swims for Ellesmere. Samuel Osborne of City of Birmingham swims in lane 8. And Thomas Howley swims in lane 9 for Newcastle. And we're seeing the faster start from lane 5 and lane 0. That is William Foster in lane 5 in the centre of the pool. William Riley, though, on the outside, and he's maintaining that fast start as well from an outside lane. Kieran Bird turns first, though, at the 100 in lane 3, 55.51 his time. William Riley not far behind at all, 55.58 at the 100. James Wilkes coming through, 55.62, so very close indeed at the top. But we are looking at lane 0, lane 3 and lane 6 at the moment, who are just getting their noses in front here down this 3rd and all-important 50 before turning for the sprint for home. It's all about head down and kicking those legs on this 50. It's going to hurt but it'll all be over soon. Now we see very strongly Kieran Bird coming through. He's just about got his arms in front. That green hat of Millfield in the centre of the pool, looking very strong indeed. Don't count out William Riley though. At the bottom of the screen, Bath University swimmer looking very strong indeed as they come up to the touch here. It is Kieran Bird who takes it, 153.56. Thomas Howley, 154.32. He had a brilliant final length there from lane 9. And James Wilkes coming through for third, 154.37 from lane 6. William Riley just fading down that final 25 or so, while Thomas Howley very much rallied. Results confirmed, and we move on to heat number 5.
And away we go then, heat number 5, getting towards the business end of these heats. In lane 0 from Loughborough University, it's Craig Munden. In 1, Ryan Reeder from Davencio Excel. In 2, from Bath, it's Julian Chan Kui Lin. In 3, it's Belgian swimmer Valentin Boryaslovic. In 4, from Loughborough Uni, Jarvis Parkinson. In 5, from Loughborough Uni, is Elliot Clogg. In 6, Michael Gunning from Stockport Metro. In 7, Regan Lloyd from Team Ipswich. In 8, Federico Badiso from Mount Kelly, and in 9, Harvey Beeches from Wigan. Good start being made as well in lane 0. It's Craig Munden, the Loughborough Uni swimmer in the purple hat. Also an excellent start being made by the Belgian in lane 3. That's Valentin Borisavljevic going along very nicely indeed. He's leading them out into this second half of this 200-metre race. Not too far away from him though. In lane 5 is Elliot Clogg, who will give him some stiff competition. Elliot going nicely in lane 5. Jarvis Parkinson won't be a million miles away either in lane 4 as they hit the turn. So it is still Borisavljevic of Belgium who leads the way. Clogg in second, Parkinson third, Gunning fourth. They come back towards home. Going along pretty nicely. Now, Borisavljevic just fading away in lane 3, and coming to the 4 is Elliot Clogg in 5. Going along very nicely. He's going to take the touch pretty convincingly in the end. Timed that well, 151.77 from Elliot Clogg. Jarvis Parkinson in second, Regan Lloyd in third in the end. Valentin Borisavljevic, having led them out, pushed into 6th ultimately. Fine swim there from the Belgian. Nevertheless, and quick swims in that race, no doubt about it. And we can move on to our next heat. This is heat number 6.
Heat number 6, then the penultimate heat of this men's 200 freestyle underway. Alexander Bragazzi of Loughborough University swims in lane 0. Alexis Borisavljevic of Belgium in lane 1. Lane 2, Thomas Flower of Richmond Dale. Lane 3, Daniel Wallace, Edinburgh University. Lane 4, Nick Granger, City of Sheffield. Lane 5, Cameron Curl of Bath. Lane 6, Thomas Kingham of Loughborough University. Lane 7, his teammate Nathan Wells. Lane 8, Lewis Clough, City of Salford. And lane 9, Max McCusker of Millfield. And at the touch it is Flower, fastest over the 50, 25.88. Lewis Clough in lane 8 also having a strong start as well, and it is still these two at the 100. Clearly stamping their authority on this race and making a real statement of intent over the first 100. Can they bring it back now, though? That's where it really counts, down this third 50. Thomas Flower, though, looking very strong indeed, but coming through now in lane 4. It is Nick Granger, City of Sheffield. We saw him last night pacing basically a 200 metre in the final of the 400 metre. He went out like a rocket in a 150 over that first 200 in the 400 freestyle last night, and then faded entirely. He was very much, I guess, doing a warm-up for this event, and warm-up he might now. He's coming through to the wall. That consideration time for the Commonwealth Games then, 1:47.53. His entry time here, 1:47.28, but he's got to do it when it counts. James Guy already qualifying for the Commonwealth Games. Who will join him? Nick Granger then 1:50.30 in the heats this morning. Cameron Curl takes second place, 1:56.1. Kingham third, 1:51.44. And I just wonder what we will see tonight. Fireworks, I imagine, from Nick Granger amongst others. Results confirmed for you on the screen. We move on to heat 7.
And away we go then, men's 200 free, number 7. Quick swimmers going in this one. In 1 is Lander Hendricks, away from Belgium. In 2, Martin Walton from the University of Stirling. In 3, Jane Elliott from the City of Sheffield. 4, Callum Jarvis from the Bath National Centre. 5, Timothy Shuttleworth from Loughborough University. In 6, it's Carl Chisholm from Stockport Metro. In 7, Harry Constantine from Hatfield. Max Murphy from City Milton Keynes goes in lane 8. Samuel Bird of the City of Sheffield goes in 9. Nice quick start being made in the centre lanes. That's Tim Shuttleworth and Callum Jarvis, lanes 5 and 4 respectively, taking this one out. And Tim Shuttleworth will touch in at the halfway point in the lead there. Jarvis in 2nd, Chisholm in 3rd, Lelliot in 4th with a bit of work to do, but he'll back himself over this back 100 here. Does prefer a middle distance as Jay Elliott, so he's always got the stamina to give in the final section of this race, and it's going to be a very close finish. Take a look at that, 5 swimmers in a row. This should be a barnstorming finish from lane 6 all the way through to lane 2. Carl Chisholm, Timothy Shuttleworth, Callum Jarvis, Jay Elliott, Martin Walton. Pick a winner from that lot. They're going to be close. Chisholm led with the final 50 to go, and just fading away there is Tim Shuttleworth in lane 5. It's now a battle between 4, I think, maybe even 3. Leading the way in lane 6 is Carl Chisholm. Jarvis remains in 2nd. Lelliot pushing hard for that, though, and he might even get the touch here. Going to be close at the finish. Chisholm holds on. Lelliot 2nd, Jarvis 3rd. 1:50.23 the winning time for Carl Chisholm. Not a bad race that for a heat. Really, really competitive. Timothy Shuttleworth swims 1:51.73 and ends up in 5th. That was the standard of that race. Really, really good indeed. Brilliant swim from Carl Chisholm to take the win in 1:50. Super stuff, that. Event summary is coming up on the scoreboard for you in the venue. While on the stream we take a look at the results of that race. 1:50.23, the confirmed winning time for Carl Chisholm from Stockport Metro. Jay Elliott in 2nd. He'll be really pleased to get one over the swimmers in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Super race from Jay Elliott. He looks to come back from his disappointment last night in the 400. He's still got plenty of chances in his other events, though, to get that Commonwealth spot that he is seeking. And we can move on to our next event. This is event 204 in the programme. We move to the other end. It's the women's 50 metres freestyle, and we start as ever with heat number 1.
Here we go then, change of ends and a splash and dash for the 50 metres freestyle. Lane 0, Steph Millwood. Lane 1, Kirsten Harvey. Lane 2, Kai Marriott. Lane 3, Gabrielle Melbourne-Smith. Lane 4, Abigail Poulton. Lane 5, Nadia Sterling. Lane 6, Molly Jo Garrett. Lane 7, Sophie Shaw. And lane 8, Francesca Whitting. And we've got from lanes 1 to 5 all in a line coming up to the wall here. It looks as though lane 5 will get the touch, and it is Nadia Sterling, 27.45. Abigail Poulton, 27.62. Melbourne Smith in third, 27.76. Great opening heat then of the 50 freestyle. Sterling looking very strong indeed. We move on to heat number 2. Heat number 2 then, and as ever, we look at the fastest entries in the middle of the pool. Maisie Elliott comes in for the City of Leicester on 27.55. Zoe Naylor Perrott in lane 4, one to watch, 27.47. Sophie Freeman in lane 5, 27.52. But however, we're looking at a very strong start indeed from lane 6, Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly as they come to the wall. Half a body length or so up, she will get the touch, 27.09. Amy Davis takes second, 27.54. Third for City of Leicester swimmer Maisie Elliott, 27.56. Brilliant swimming early doors for a 50 freestyle for Georgina Dennis. Very quick indeed. Results confirmed for you, and we move on now to heat number 3. The swimmers had to stand down there. What effect will that start have on them as they break out and come through the 25-metre? Tegan Child, Molly Quelch, Imogen Mears, the 3 fastest, all around 27.0, 27.1. They'll be looking now to dip under that 27 marker and finally get a 26 to their name. All in one line as they come up to the pool, but it looks as though lane 5 going very well. Also lane 8, Amy Philpott. She takes it, 27.28. Honey Osrin takes second, 27.41. Imogen Mears takes the third for Bromley, 27.45. Fantastic final 25 metres from Amy Philpott there. Results confirmed for you. We move on to heat 4.
We go in heat number 4. Quickest in qualifying in this one was Ellie Millington in lane 4. Jane Brown from Newcastle is always good for a quick race. Sophie Yendall won't be too far away in lane 3 either, but as ever, winners can come from anywhere. Keep an eye on these near side lanes. That's 1 and 2. Onioluwa, Taiwo and Eleanor Dewhurst going along very nicely. And it looks like Dewhurst might just get the touch here. It's going to be close with lane 6, Maisie Lawrence. But Eleanor Dewhurst just gets there from Anaconda, 26.79. Good swim from Eleanor Dewhurst to take the win there. Maisie Lawrence in lane 6, Basildon and Phoenix there, just pipped to the post as we move on to our next heat. Heat 5. go in heat number 5. Kayla Sanchez, the Canadian from Ontario, is quickest into this race, and she'll provide some good competition with Gul Simonal from Glasgow in 3, Jessica Jackson from Plymouth in 5. Molly Allen is very quick over 50 metres, whatever the stroke, from Loughborough in lane 6 as well. Should be a good race, this one, as they come towards the touch. This is a really impressive swim from Kayla Sanchez in lane 4 from Ontario. Pushing her every step of the way is Jessica Jackson from Plymouth in lane 5, and that's your winner. Kayla Sanchez, 25.8. Jessica Jackson, 26.10 in 2nd place. Hannah Rogers of Teddington gets the touch in 3rd, just nudging out Molly Allen into 4th. Juliet Cassini picks up a 5th. A fine swim there from Kayla Sanchez to take the win. Heat 6. Barkley holds on 25.83 by 100th of a second over Freya Rayner. That was close. Katie Latham takes 3rd place in that one. Emily Crane in 4th, just nudging out Alicia Wilson in 5th place. Good swim that though from Emily Barkley to take the win. 25.83 by 100th of a second. Heat 7, final heat. Away they go then in our final heat, heat number 7. Anna Hopkin is always very, very quick over a 50 freestyle. She's in lane 4 from Bath University. Rebecca Smith, Rebecca Guy, either side of her will provide competition, but don't be surprised to see lane 4, Anna Hopkin, lead this one out and finish strongly. In towards the touch she comes. And that is a quick finish indeed from Anna Hopkin. Very nicely done in lane 4, 25.39 the winning time. Rebecca Smith coming in 2nd place. Rebecca Guy in 3rd in 26 on the money. Eleanor Phillip just behind in 4th, but that's a nice swim from Anna Hopkin. Loves a 50 freestyle. That is her race, and she can go quicker than that, and she'll be looking to go quicker than that tonight, I am sure. Rebecca Smith from Ontario in Canada was not too far behind. Could be an interesting race that later on this evening. That was the final heat of the 50 free for the women. And it is time to move on to our next event. This is event 205 in the programme. It's the men's 400 metres individual medley, and we start, as ever, with heat number 1.
Slight change of pace now as we see the first heat of the men's 400 metre individual medley take to the pool. In lane 3, Nathan Woodrow, City of Norwich. Lane 4, Patrick Maney of Northampton. And in 5, Luke Adams of the City of Salford. All 3 swimmers coming in on around the same time or so, 4:56.94, 4:56.98. So they are very well matched indeed. Nathan Woodrow, though, with the stronger start, 28.51 over that first 50. And as we saw last night in the women's 400 metre individual medley, and indeed in the heats earlier on in the day, the lead can change, and change quickly and drastically in a medley race as the swimmers go through each stroke and their strengths and weaknesses become apparent. If you know you haven't got the strongest breaststroke, you're going to want to go out very hard indeed on the fly and the backstroke to ensure you've got a bit of a buffer to try and stay ahead and then hang on the freestyle. I say that because that's exactly how I used to race 400 metre individual medley, because my breaststroke was undoubtedly my weaker stroke, backstroke one of the stronger, and so I used to make the most of this leg right now. And we can see Nathan Woodrow doing the same. 102.53 he turned in for the fly, and he's opened up a bit of a gap over Patrick Maney and Luke Adams as well in second and third respectively. The City of Norwich swimmer then in lane 3, looking in control at the moment.
Yeah, we mentioned last night on commentary, Laura, how much 400 medley we saw the women last night go, of course, we'll talk about that in a minute, but how much it can change over the course of a race. The 200 medley changes a lot, but the 400 does give you that little bit of breathing space. It allows you time to recover. So if you have got those stronger strokes, particularly towards the end of the race, it does give you time. You'll always notice the breaststroke. If you've got a good breaststroke, you'll always have a chance in the 400 medley because it allows you to catch up and shrink the field as this race continues. So don't be surprised if over the next 100 metres we see Patrick Maney and Luke Adams come right back into it. Nathan Woodrow has got a very good lead, but that might well change as we head into the breaststroke leg. And of course, we saw such a fabulous medley final last night. 3 wonderfully talented swimmers leading the way. And what a phenomenal race it was, and some really lovely moments.
Yeah, they really were. It was lovely to see. I'm not sure about breathing space. I tell you what, if you've gone out hard on the fly in the backstroke, the breaststroke hurts even more than it would usually. It really is tough, this event. And we were saying that perhaps that was Nathan Woodrow's tactic, but it looks as though he's actually extended his lead here. The City of Norwich swimmer is having a storming heat swim here. He's taken it to Maney and Adams. And he's moving away. Yeah, he certainly is. Really impressive swim from Nathan Woodrow. Just an announcement for the venue here. Can we please have a coach representative from Anaconda or Loughborough University to the timing suite, please? That's a coach or representative from Anaconda and Loughborough Uni to the timing suite, please, as quickly as you can. Thank you very much. Back to the pool then, and it's Nathan Woodrow who has extended his lead, as Laura was saying, looking very, very good here into the freestyle. 3:41.87 is the touch heading into this one. And this is a little bit surprising. We did see a few times coming into this, their entry times of these 3, all very, very close. In fact, within 0.04 of a second within each other. Well, Nathan Woodrow is blowing that out of the water. Just wait and see how quickly he can go heading into this one. He's going on really, really nicely indeed. 3:41.87 was his touch at the wall, turning into the freestyle, and he'll back himself into the wall as they come for home. Nathan Woodrow, 4:15.55. He's on for a very quick time here. And very much now having to swim entirely to his own pace and his own race plan. He's got no one to fight with. He's got no one to pitch himself against. He now has just got to go for this. And he's absolutely storming away to the wall, coming through to that final 25 marker, up to 15 metres to go. This is very much Nathan Woodrow's race, as it has been from the very first 50. Yeah, it certainly has, and no doubt about it. As he comes into the touch, it will be Nathan Woodrow who wins it. Let's have a look at the time here. 4:49.14. Nathan Woodrow, what a swim that is. 4:56.98 was the time he entered in, actually the slowest in this event. 4:49.14 is what he ends up with, and that is very, very impressive. Brilliant swim from Nathan Woodrow of the City of Norwich. He will be very, very pleased with that one indeed. As well he should. Luke Adams and Patrick Maney in second and third respectively. Confirmed results are available for you there. And we can move on to our next heat. It's a full complement in the pool, and it's heat number 2. And away we go. Heat number 2, the men's 400 IM. Ross Philp from Staines goes in lane 0. George Rudd from the City of Oxford is in lane 1. 2 is Timothy LeBeau from Beckenham. Reed Jones from Plymouth Leander goes in lane 3. Dominic Bulls from Nova Centurion is the man in lane 4. In 5 is Jordan McPhail from Guildford. In 6, Thomas White of Nova. In 7, from Maxwell, Kenji McDade. In 8, from Mount Kelly, is James Bartley. Elijah Kendrick from Shiverers completes the field
in lane number 9. Well into the fly leg now. And leading the way on this near side, actually. Really quick start from Ross Philp of Staines in lane 0, going along really nicely indeed. Plymouth Leander's Reed Jones in lane 3 is up there with him. But Ross Philp has not hung around on the fly leg, and he's flown away as he turns into the backstroke here. Getting a really nice turn in lane 3 is Reed Jones. Got away nicely onto his stroke, as did Ross Philp, to be fair, in lane 0, sticking with him. And really motoring through the pool here in lane 2 is Timothy LeBeau of Beckenham, making his way into contention. Keeping an eye on lane 8 as well, James Bartley from Mount Kelly. Tough race to call this so far as we head towards the halfway point of the backstroke and the halfway point of the race here as well. Turning in first position still in lane 0 is Ross Philp of Staines. Excellent start.
Really strong start from Philp in lane 0. Often it is difficult to know how to pace a swim when you're in an outside lane. You don't have swimmers either side of you to work against. What you do have, though, is the pool side closest to you, and you can just about catch a glimpse of people madly waving their arms at you. You can't always see much, but certainly in lane 0 you do get a bit of a taste of perhaps where you're at. You've very much got to swim to your race plan, though, and we can see now Ross Philp doing exactly that from lane 0 as he turns here. He's just been edged out into second, though, by another outside lane swimmer, James Bartley of Mount Kelly. And it's interesting, in these early heats we often see this. We see the swimmers coming through who perhaps are taking huge chunks off their time. They're coming into this in amazing form and they're ready to PB, and actually those chunks will fall from their times and they're having storming swims for that. But as we've seen in so many 400-metre individual medley races before, the breaststroke will change everything. Now we see Reed Jones of Plymouth Leander beginning to make tracks, beginning to make moves in lane 3. Ross Philp hanging in there, though.
Yeah, he is. It's been a really close race, this one. You just see that perfect shot as they turn at the wall. Anyone from 5, really. It's a really, really close race, this. Breaststroke does sometimes have this effect in a race that's already close. It shrinks the field even more. It gives everyone a shot. And that's certainly what's happened in this one. Going on really nicely. You see there Reed Jones in the silver hat of Plymouth Leander. He has the lead, but not by a lot. It is close. Over on the far side, that's lane number 7. Kenji McDade going along really nicely on the breaststroke. It's going to be a close finish, this.
Yeah, we can see the leader after that backstroke leg, James Bartley. He's just faded now on the breaststroke. And that third leg of this 400 IM has changed everything. It's changed the entire nature of the pool. And we see now Timothy LeBeau coming through, Kenji McDade also coming through on this freestyle leg. And LeBeau just taking control here. Very well paced indeed, if indeed that was his race plan. To just build through this, use the breaststroke as a platform, as a springboard for what is now a fight to get home and touch the wall first.
Yeah, he seems to favour the more sort of conventional strokes. The backstroke and the freestyle, was very strong on both of those and held his own in the fly and the breaststroke, kept him in contention. He knew he had the freestyle in the locker, Timothy LeBeau, and he's showcasing that in all of its glory here. Going on really nicely is LeBeau in lane 2. And you see him in the black cap, breathing to his left, so you'll see if anyone's coming from his outside, but he's kept that pretty much on lock on this freestyle leg. Still going really nicely, actually, in lane 7 to Kenji McDade. He's the closest man to him. Not going to be too close, but he will finish in second place. Fine swim from Timothy LeBeau, particularly on that freestyle leg. 4:50.71 the time. Kenji McDade does indeed finish in second place. And Jordan McPhail finishing very strongly for Guildford in lane 5. He wasn't really in contention into that freestyle, but he turned it around on the final leg. He finishes third in 4:54.07. There's your winner, Timothy LeBeau. Fine swim.
Looking very happy indeed, and so he will. 4:56.24 his entry time, 4:57.1 he comes out with. A good morning's work indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be pretty pleased with that, one would imagine. Well, the swimmers in Heat 3 have got a little bit to live up to there, because that was a fine race. Confirm results on the screen for you there. Can they live up to it, though? We'll going to find out. It's heat number 3.
Heat number 3 underway, and no lane 4 for you in this one. Henry Pearce of City of Peterborough swims in lane 0. Lane 1, Edward Hunt of Teddington. Lane 2, Billy Wootton of Ellesmere. Lane 3, Jose Dignan, Stockport Metro. Lane 4, Oliver Fairman of Poole. Not swimming here today, though, of course. Pietro Falcone of Winchester goes in lane 5. Alex Rosser Barnett swims in lane 6 for Ellesmere. Jolan Bennett of Stockport Metro goes in lane 7. Matthew Yeomans in lane 8 for City of Leeds. Thomas Beamer, City of Leicester swimmer, swims in lane 9. And a strong start once again from the outside lanes. Henry Pearce with the fastest start on this fly, the opening 100 metre of the 400 IM, 29.24. He turned in for the 50. Billy Wootton going with him too on this fly leg as they turn onto the backstroke. 1:03.68 his time at the turn. For Henry Pearce in lane 0, once again, he doesn't have swimmers around him to work off and pace with. He's very much got to swim his own race here and focus in on the processes he's nailed down in training. The hours and hours of training all coming down to around about 4 minutes in the pool, 5 minutes in the pool. It is tough swimming. Henry Pearce, though, lovely long backstroke. That looks very relaxed and strong indeed.
Yeah, really good start this from Henry Pearce. And this is interesting, you always see this in the heats of the 400 IM. Quite often, the outside lanes are very, very competitive. The sort of standard seeding position of these swimmers as they come into the race is sort of a V, but you just see there, Laura, the stroke you were talking about with Henry Pearce, it's very, very smooth, very natural on the backstroke in particular, and it's always interesting. The freestyle, it's all about motion, it's fast, it's furious. The backstroke, it's more about technique, and he's got that down to a T. He looks effortless.
He looks really relaxed. It's in a very efficient stroke, and that means he's going to be conserving energy. Ultimately, that's what a swimmer wants to do on a stroke. You don't want to waste any energy on any part of your stroke. Every time your hand moves through the water, you want to be catching that water, pulling it through, propelling yourself forward. That's exactly what Henry Pearce was doing on the backstroke there. A lovely stroke to watch, and it was quick as well because he maintained that lead, but already that has been eaten into over this first 25 of the breaststroke.
Yeah, lane 2, that's Billy Watson from Ellesmere College Titans. He's got a good breaststroke in his locker, and we always say the breaststroke is the real catalyst, the real X factor in a medley. Or it can be at least, and it certainly is being in this one. Billy Watson going on really nicely on the breaststroke there, turning in lane 2, 2:59.99, just under the 3-minute mark as they come back towards home. Hunt in lane 1 is in second. And remaining in third is Henry Pearce in lane 0. As the swimmers on this near side. So, just mentioned, you usually expect the sort of the V formation, like an arrow in the pool, if it goes to seed. Never seems to be the case in the medley. And that's absolutely been disproved in this race in particular. It's the swimmers on this near side. And it's a swimmer in lane 2 in particular, Billy Watson, who leads them into the freestyle. Can anyone catch him?
What an impressive breaststroke leg there from Billy Wootton. That was pretty good, wasn't it? To see him take that distance. He caught up and then took more distance out as well. Very impressive. Can Wootton now hold on, though, over the final 75 metres or so? He's breathing the right way. He'll be able to see if indeed Edward Hunt and Henry Pearce begin to creep up on him. We are seeing some movement though from Matthew Yeomans there, City of Leeds. Up in lane 8, he's just sneaking through. He could take third position here from Henry Pearce if he's not careful. Billy Wootton though, with that real turn of pace there in the breaststroke. 4:14.23, he turns in, and now it's just about getting home and making sure you get to the wall first. Really impressive stuff there from Wootton on that breaststroke. He knows exactly how to swim a medley, and he knows where to use his strengths, and they clearly lie on the breaststroke, and he's held on here on the freestyle too. Wootton touches 4:47.36. A few cheers there in the crowd, clearly some very happy people. Edward Hunt second, and Thomas Beamer came through there all the way at the top of the screen in lane 9 to take third.
Yeah, it's always interesting on the freestyle. You always see a swimmer who is not really in contention on the breaststroke. If they've got a good free, they can really push strong in the final 100, and Thomas Beamer certainly did that. But Billy Watson, super swim from Ellesmere College Titans, 4:47.36, second and a half or so ahead of Edward Hunt from Teddington. Thomas Beamer does indeed get third. Still a few more heats to go. Next up, it's heat 4. And up and away and into their stroke. Heat number 4. In 0 from Mount Kelly, it's Joseph Russell. In 1 from Nova Centurion, Joseph Kingsland. In 2, also from Nova, is Ryan Wilcox. In 3, it's Millfield's William Ellington. In 4, Pierce Greening from Cockermouth. Ruben Visder of the city of Sheffield goes in 5. Ethan McNeil is in 6 from Team Bath. In 7, it's Herbie Kinder from the city of Peterborough. Luke Skelding from the city of Derby goes in lane 8. William Earl from the city of Sheffield swims in his home pool in lane number 9. Quick start being made though by Ruben Visder of Team Steel in lane 5. 29.08 was his split at the 50, and finishing nicely on the fly leg as well, looking really strong, well ahead of the rest of the field, even after just 80 meters or so. And he's held that lead as he comes in towards the turn here onto the backstroke. Really nicely done that from Ruben Visder. 62.25, no mean feat on the 100 fly, particularly in a 400 IM, looking very good. Herbie Kinder not too far behind, and Luke Skelding also well in contention as well as they come onto the backstroke. This is impressive, this from Ruben Visder.
Yeah, it really is. He's taking it to the rest of the field there from a centre lane as well. It is expected of him when you come into a heat and you all line up, you look to those middle lanes. Pierce Greening, Ruben Visder are coming in on the fastest times. 4:45.69 for Greening. Visder coming in on a 4:46.55. He will be looking to better that, and he's gone out for it as well. And in swimming, you can never really be sure what your competition are capable of, what kind of form they're coming in on, how well they've been tapered for this event. And so you've very much got to swim to your best, to your own race pace, to your own race plan, and trust all you've done in training. And Visder then, clearly a very strong fly swimmer. And that lead he managed to forge over that opening 100 meters or so has just been cut back by Pierce Greening now, who's coming through. And at the breaststroke turn, it looks as though they'll be pretty much together. Greening's just edged ahead here. Visder hanging on in there, and eyes on lane 7 and 8 as well. Herbie Kinder and Luke Skelding both coming through in 3rd and 4th at the moment. As ever in a medley though, we will see the breaststroke really begin to change things. And we can see it now. Pierce Greening is stretching away from Ruben Visder. You've got to ask whether Visder went out just a little too hard on that fly, or whether perhaps he knows that's his strength and that's the race plan he's got to follow. Greening then has taken a couple of body lengths out of Visder.
And he will do that on the breaststroke, will Pierce Greening. Very strong stroke for him in the bright yellow hat of Cockermouth. 2:56.49 was a split coming towards the final 150 meters then. Good swim this, Pierce Greening. Ruben Visder remains in contention. His first 2 legs of this medley have given him that opportunity, but he has to just hold on here in the breaststroke and hope his freestyle can push him through into a good time. He's in danger of just slipping away here. Coming through alongside in lane 8, that's Luke Skelding. In lane 3 is William Ellington of Millfield. They're pretty much alongside him at this stage, and may even overtake him. Pearce Greening, though, is away hand racing into his freestyle. He's not hanging about at all. 3:36.92 with 100 meters to go then for Pearce Greening, and it's a real race here. Look at that, Pearce Greening miles ahead. It's almost like that scene out of Planet Earth with the lizards and the snake. That's what I'm sort of picturing here. All giving chase. I'm not sure Pearce Greening is going to be caught here. He is miles in front of the chasing pack.
That's quite the analogy. I appreciate that one. Visda then is chasing hard. Ellington chasing hard as well, as is Luke Skelding in lane 8. It's all going to change down this final 50 though, when the efforts begin to take their toll and swimmers start to tire. Coming through strongly now, Ryan Wilcox, Nova Centurion, in lane 2. He's coming through very nicely indeed on this freestyle, bringing it home, but it's all about Pearce Greening in the centre lane, 4:41.55. Very impressive time as well, under his entry time, and he'll be happy with that. Ruben Visda, 4:47.46, a second place. Just rewards for going out quite so hard as he did. And Ryan Wilcox indeed took third there, 4:51.14. What a race from Pearce Greening.
Yeah, superb that Pearce Greening. Bear in mind he entered in 4:45. He's taken a big chunk out of that time. Brilliant swim from Pearce Greening, the man from Cockermouth. Just catching his breath there as well he might. That was some race. Still 3 more heats to come in this 400 IM, so don't go anywhere just yet. And we start with heat number 5. Plenty still on the way.
Heat 5 of 7 then, nice and cleanly underway in the Ponds Forge pool here in Sheffield at the National Winter Championships. Lane 0, Edward Mildred, Northampton. Lane 1, Joshua Harris, Nova Centurion. Jasper Lai swims in lane 2, City of Bristol, Lewis Gilchrist. City of Oxford swimmer swims in lane 3. Gregory Butler, the fastest entry for City of Derby in lane 4. Augustus Veazey swims in lane 5 for Basildon Phoenix. Yaron Gerber of Barnet Coptal swims in lane 6. Caleb Mackey of Grantham in 7. Lane 8, Jacob Davis, City of Birmingham. Lane 9, Jackson O'Rourke of Northampton. And no lane 4. So we do not have Gregory Butler. He came in on a 4:38, so our fastest time in the pool on entry is a 4:38.87 from Augustus Veazey. In lane 5, he turns in second, but first, Joshua Harris, a strong fly leg indeed from the Nova Centurion swimmer, as they turn on to the backstroke now. Again from lane 1, so we're seeing the order change slightly. We're used to seeing a spearhead formation from seeded heats like this, but the medley, certainly in the early stages, can throw up a few curveballs and indeed some outside smokers in those lanes on the outside of the pool will start to burn their way down the pool. Gilchrist now coming through very strongly indeed in lane 3. Joshua Harris still up there. Augustus Veazey beginning to move into contention as well. And if indeed you do want to start to make your move on the breaststroke, you're going to have to motor it up this final 25 on the backstroke just to keep yourself in contention, keep yourself in touch with the field. And so often, if you can see yourself gaining on a swimmer, that will give you just an added impetus to keep it moving. Once you do lose touch with the bunch, it can be very difficult indeed. You can be stuck in no man's land, and it can be difficult to actually get back into contention and get back to the front of the field. Now we turn on to the breaststroke and we wonder how this 400-metre individual medley heat will begin to shape up now that we are on to the third 100, and indeed perhaps one of the more decisive strokes here in the medley, the breaststroke. All eyes then on Gilchrist, City of Oxford swimmer. In lane 3, he's maintaining the lead. He has built over the fly and the backstroke so far. But Gerber now coming through in lane 6. Harris still there in lane 1 as well. Those are your top 3 through this breaststroke. Keep your eye on Gerber though. He has flown down that first 50 on this breaststroke leg into second position. Can he topple Gilchrist at the top? And indeed he has. He now has half a body length or so. Gilchrist just beginning to fade ever so slightly. Harris is rallying now, that green hat towards the bottom of your screen. But this all about Yaron Gerber. That yellow hat of Barnet Copthall, he touches first, and by some distance as well. He's got about 4 or 5 seconds here, advantage over the rest of the field. Coming into this freestyle leg, so he knows exactly how he wants to swim a medley. He knows on the breaststroke he can do some serious damage, and damage he has done over that third 100. Joshua Harris still hanging in there for Nova Centurion. He is being challenged strongly now though by Jasper Lai, City of Bristol swimmer just next to him. And Gilchrist, he's still up there as well. He's 4th at the moment. What can he do after building such a lead and then letting it slip slightly on the breaststroke? But it looks like there is no catching Yaron Gerber. The field is closing slightly on him, but with 15 meters to go, he very much the Barnet Copthall swimmer. Yaron Gerber then coming up to the wall as we see a tussle for second, third and fourth. Gerber touches 4:38.28 his time. Second place does go to Harris. He holds on in there, 4:42.11. Jasper Lai, 4:42.59, takes the third place there. Yaron Gerber came in on a 4:39.49. He's come out with a 4:38.28. So hopefully that's a PB and he'll be happy with his efforts here this morning. Super strong on the breaststroke, really impressive stuff. And we just wait for the results to be confirmed. Results confirmed for you on the screens here in the venue and your screen at home on the live stream. We move on to heat number 6.
And away we go in heat number 6, the men's 400 IM, penultimate heat of this race. We have Oliver O'Halloran from Derwentside in lane 0. Alfie Kelly of Newcastle goes in lane 1. Couple of Loughborough swimmers following him in lanes 2 and 3. That's Nathan Wells and Fraser Miniken. Thomas Dean from Maidenhead is in lane 4. He was the quickest entrant into this race. Brodie Williams from Millfield goes in 5. Thomas Payne from the City of Manchester Aquatics is in lane 6. William Bell from City of Leicester is in 7. Thomas Payne's teammate Samuel Goldrick goes in 8, and James Newman is in 9. He's from the City of Leicester. So a bit of a teammate battle in the outside lanes. 2 swimmers each from Manchester and Leicester. 2 swimmers as well in 2 and 3 from Loughborough. Making the quickest start though, and well into the backstroke now, is lane number 5. Good start being made this by Brodie Williams, green hat of Millfield. See him there at the top of your picture, looking very, very strong indeed. with him, not too far away. Lane 6, Thomas Payne, and lane 3, Fraser Minikin. Also getting a good turn there in lane 4 was Thomas Dean from Maidenhead. He'll want to stay in contention. He's got a strong breast and free. He'll always back himself in the latter stages of the medley, but he just needs to stay with the leading pack here. Thomas Dean, really strong start from Brodie Williams, who leads this one out, and he's doing so pretty well. So there's the turn at the halfway point, split at the 200, 2:04.69. Fraser Minikin in second place, 2:08.33. Payne in 2:09.22, just ahead of Dean. So Brodie Williams here, holding on. It's an impressive swim, this, from Brodie Williams. Going on really nicely in lane 5, the Millfield swimmer. Sometimes see when a guy takes out a medley so quickly, they can often fade towards the latter stages of the race. Brodie Williams not really showing too many signs of that. He's held his lead. This is an impressive swim from Williams. Dean is just starting to make his presence felt behind him though, and Minikin is closing, so too Thomas Payne. Chasing pack is now very evident. It's a front 4, no doubt about that. They're well ahead of the rest of the field. But as it stands, it's Brodie Williams who's ahead of the leading pack. It's Williams and then 3. In towards the turn of the freestyle we go then, and Williams' lead has been shrunk on the breaststroke, no doubt about that. It's still a pretty handy lead. He'd rather have it than not, but it has definitely shrunk. And there come the chasers. In lane 4, Dean. In lane 3, it's Minikin. In 6, it's Payne. Bearing down on Brodie Williams in lane 5. Can he catch him, is the question. Just about by his ankles now are Minikin and Dean. Williams, can he hold on? He's had such a brilliant 350 meters so far. This last 50 though will really push him to the test. He's gone out very quickly. This is where it'll really start to kick in and it'll really start to hurt. Can he hold on? Thomas Dean is bearing down. He's just a second behind with 50 meters to go. Minikin not too far back as well. Been such a good swim from Brodie Williams up to this point. Can he hold on into the final 15? He's doing a pretty good job of it, looking really strong. Thomas Dean trying to eat into that lead, and he's managing to do so, but not by enough. Really good swim that from Brodie Williams. Lay it right from the start. 4:25.97 for Brodie Williams. Really nicely done. He had to be pushed there right at the finish, but he did manage to hold on. He's capable of quicker, and he'll be hoping to repeat the trick a little bit later on this evening, no doubt. Thomas Dean ended up in second place. Fraser Minikin in third. Super race that. Well done to that man right there, Brodie Williams, with an excellent swim. And time now for our final heat of the 400 IM, heat number 7.
And so on to our fastest and final heat here of the men's 400 metre individual medley. William Slawson swims in lane 0 for Wrekin College. Adam Wilson goes in lane 1 for Newcastle. Zach Logue, City of Sunderland Swimming Club, goes in lane 2. Jacob Greenow of Bath University swims in lane 3. Lane 4, Joe Litchfield, City of Sheffield. Lane 5, Nathan Hughes of Hatfield. Lane 6, John Britton of Ealing. Lane 7, Caleb Hughes, Loughborough University. Lane 8, Ben Harrison of Mount Kelly. And lane 9, James Woodward of Hatfield. And certainly we saw plenty of these fellas in action last night in the finals. And they're coming in relatively fresh this morning for the 400 metre individual medley heats. Now, no swimmer has ever won Commonwealth gold in the men's 400-metre individual medley. So that is something, if indeed we were to win a gold next year, that would be history in the making on the Gold Coast. Max Litchfield, the swimmer who's already qualified. He was the first Commonwealth swimmer at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games as well, and at the 2017 World Championships, swimming 4:09.62 this year. So he is well under that consideration time of 4:16.63. And so we'll see now if anyone can join him on that plane to Australia. Joe Litchfield, his younger brother. His personal best is 2.5 seconds outside the consideration time, and he is the fastest entry here today. And the City of Sheffield swimmer on home water, very much in control of this race at the moment. Jacob Greenow also up there with him as well. Adam Wilson going well over the first 200 metres or so here of this 400-metre individual medley. And times perhaps not taking too much at face value from the heat. Swimmers will be looking to hold something back for the final over a longer distance and a tough race like the medley. Litchfield then still in control here. He wants to make a statement in this heat and go into that final with the fastest time. There's something about swimming in lane 4 that gives a final an added pressure, but also an added frisson of excitement as well. Joe Litchfield here in control over the breaststroke, and he'll be desperate, I'm sure, to join his brother on the Gold Coast next year. The Litchfield brothers swimming 400-metre individual medley would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it really would, and they're both very, very talented over the distance as well. Max Litchfield in particular has had something of a breakout year really in 2017. He's been absolutely brilliant. Sort of from this point last year really, he's been very, very impressive indeed. Just has built into a super confident, composed, established elite swimmer, which he always had the potential to do. Joe Litchfield is looking to join him in that sort of class, that sort of bracket, and make no mistake, he's perfectly capable of doing so. But he's trailing in this one. Jacob Greenow has gone out very nicely on the breaststroke in particular. And Litchfield with a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah, Jacob Greenow last night swimming in the 200-metre breaststroke junior final, so we know on breaststroke he's certainly going to make his moves, and he has indeed. He's sticking with Joe Litchfield and doing it very well. These two now in a tussle for the line.
Yeah, going to be close here. Litchfield has brought this right back, and it is he who I think just touches in front. Yeah, just about, by about 1/10 of a second ahead of Greenow as they come towards the wall. Litchfield is making his presence felt on the freestyle here. You can see there the black cap just edging ahead of the blue one of Greenow. Litchfield's in this pool on the medley are very, very hard to beat, whether it's Max or it's Joe. They're tough, and Joe Litchfield here going along very, very nicely, and he looks like he's going to get this time and get the win in the heat number 7, and a good swim as well. 4:25.73 from Joe Litchfield. Not bad going at all in the heats, and he's certainly one to watch out for as we look ahead to the finals a little bit later on. Jacob Greenow in 4:26. Nathan Hughes 4:30. He can go a lot quicker than that. He'll be hoping to do that a little bit later on, I am sure, as our final swimmers come in to complete the race in the outside lanes. But your winner there is Joe Litchfield in the final heat of the men's 400 IM. We'll be hoping for similar scenes to the women's that we saw last night. Certainly those of a City of Sheffield persuasion will be hoping for that exactly. Confirmed results then, 4:25.73 for Joe Litchfield. Greenow in second, Hughes, Nathan Hughes that is, in third, Caleb Hughes from Loughborough in fourth. And the event summary was just on the board for you there of the 400 IM. Some decent heats in that one as well. I've just got a couple of events still to come, so do stay with us. The women's 800 heats and the men's 400 freestyle team event to finish off the morning. But we do start with the women's 800. There is 3 heats to swim this morning, and as ever, we start with heat number 1. And away we go then, very first heat of the women's 800 meters freestyle. We have got 3 heats this morning. The fastest heat will be swum later on this evening. You see a few familiar names in that one, the likes of Hannah Miley, Holly Hibbert, Alice Deering, Danielle Huskerson as well going in the fastest heat. I'm looking forward to seeing those girls in what's essentially a timed final later on this evening. And don't forget, if you're watching us now, you can join us on BBC Sport and connected TVs later on this evening from 4:50 in the PM for those finals. In this one though, we have Rachel Anderson of Millfield. She goes in lane 1. Safira Gabani from the city of Sheffield, swimming here in her home pool in Ponds Forge. She's in lane 2. Charlotte Hall of Davencio Excel goes in 3. Betsy Wizard from Northampton in lane 4. Chloe Stennett of Chesterfield goes in lane 5. Abby Bowden from Kingston Hull goes in 6. And completing the field in lane 7 is the City of Leeds swimmer Maisie Black. Quick start being made by the City of Sheffield. Swimmer in lane 2, that's Safira Gabani in the red cap of Sheffield. And these swimmers swimming in the first heat will be pleased that there's a fairly full pool to complement them. Sometimes in the first heat, the 800, depending on the number of entries, it means that 2 or 3 swimmers swim against each other, and that's never really conducive to quick times. But the numbers have worked out in these girls' favour. They've got 7 swimmers to battle it out here in the 800, and making a quicker start than anyone else is the girl you see on your screen right there, red hat Safira Gabani of the City of Sheffield.
It can be difficult, especially over a longer distance like an 800 freestyle, to have an empty lane next to you, to have 2 empty lanes either side of you. It can be difficult and you can get stuck out there on your own. So these girls all working against each other right now. And Gabani, 2:12.83, she touches in at the 200 metre. Of course, her coach will have her splits listed down exactly where he wants her at each point. And we'll just see how she can stick with this early, fast pace she is setting here.
Yeah, loads of different ways you can swim an 800. Often in these early heats, it's less about the race, and these swimmers will have a time in mind, they'll have a strategy with their coach, and they'll want to swim it. So in the time final later on, you may well see something different as swimmers look to really get those goals that they're after. They want to win the race in the time final, of course, and that might change. Other swimmers' tactics might influence theirs, and that's when it comes down to the maturity and the experience of the swimmer to really focus in and decide whether they're going to have to change their tactics or whether they have faith in what they originally planned that will see them through. But in these early heats in particular, it's all about these individual swimmers. It's not necessarily who wins the race. Swimmers who sometimes finish last in these first heats can be really pleased with their time. It's a far more personal affair in these early heats. And Safira Gabani is still leading the way in terms of the race at the 300 metre mark. Still a way to go, but 3:21.84 isn't bad going at all. She leads by just under 2 seconds over Abby Bowden, who's from Hull, who hasn't had far to travel across to Sheffield. But Gabani there looking composed. Nice smooth stroke. Nice and efficiently through the water.
Yeah, it's a lovely, long, relaxed stroke. She is getting a lot of water with each arm stroke there as she comes up to the turn at the 350, coming up to around about the halfway point. And it depends on the swimmer how they want to actually structure the pacing. Certainly when I was swimming an 800, you'd look perhaps at the middle 400 more, and you sort of would say, right, the first 100, that will take care of itself. The last 100 will take care of itself. In between is where you've got to really think about it. And it's easy, very easy, too easy, in fact, to go out too hard on that first 100. It feels so relaxed, so easy, because you've got so much adrenaline going through your body. But if you've gone out too hard, it's around now where you'll start to feel it. The lactate will have built up in your muscles, the lactic acid will have built up, and it's now that they're really going to start to feel it and suffer. And if they have paced it right, these are the points where they'll start to push on. As we can see now, Rachel Anderson, that green hat of Millfield, just beginning to push up onto Gabani's shoulder here, and this is clearly how she wanted to pace the race. Start steady, start relaxed, build into it, and then start to make the key moves. through the middle of the race. These swimmers will know the sort of pace they should be going per 50, per 100. They'll have done paced 50s and 100 training, and they will know the kind of times they should be repping. And you also know when you're slipping off that time as well. Gabani perhaps now wondering if she's gone out that a little bit too hard, but sometimes you never know, and you've got to give it a go. You've got to get out there, especially in morning heats, when actually you've just got to get up and get ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a difficult race to train for, the 800. Especially when it comes into crunch time for these meets. And you just see that Sphera Gabani just falling away a touch here. And we do have a new leader at the 500. And that is Rachel Anderson of Millfields. And maybe what Laura was mentioning, maybe it's just built up a little bit for Gabani, and she has to take a couple of lengths where she just gathers herself before she can push again towards the finish here. But a really nice takeover from Rachel Anderson, who's been very steady and very consistent so far. She now has the lead, and that's really extending as well towards the turn here at the diving pool end in Ponds Forge. Looking strong is Rachel Anderson. Gabani still in second place. She's holding on to that. In lane 6 is her closest contender. That's Abby Bowden still from Kingston Hull. She's been very steady away all the way through this race, but really making the difference as we come into this one. Rachel Anderson from Millfield looking strong in the 800 here.
It's difficult to gauge from our dry, comfortable position up here in commentary whether Rachel Anderson put in the move, whether Gabani faded. It may be a combination of both, but certainly Anderson now has taken control of this one, and she has around 5 meters, just over 7.5 meters perhaps, advantage as she turns at the 600 meter, just 200 meters to go, 4 lengths. That's what will be going through her head. She'll have 4 lengths now to bring this one home. Gabani still hanging in there though, and you know, if you don't go out fast, you'll never know. It'll be a case of, what if I'd gone out that little bit faster? Better to make those mistakes now, and certainly in a heat like this, in the National Winter Championships, you live and learn through the experiences in how to pace a race, and you've got to try something new sometimes. I remember my coach telling me to go out hard, or indeed not go out hard and try and come back harder and negative split the race. And I used to look at him and think, what? I can't do that. And actually, you've got to try it, and you've got to see what works for you. These swimmers will know the kind of pacing that works for them. Rachel Anderson will perhaps have spoken to her coach before and said, here is where I want to go, through that middle 200 or so, around about 300 to 500. That's when I'll make my move. That's when she hit it. And coming off that, she has now built up a springboard as we hear the bell ring for the final 100 meters. It's all about the dash for home now.
Yeah, that's the most relieving sound for any swimmer who swims these long distance races. They're always looking for the bell around about this point. It's nice to hear it. Final 100 meters then for Rachel Anderson, who's done a great race. Sphera Gabani remains in second place. She's still very much there or thereabouts, Sphera Gabani. Still in third is Abby Bowden from Kingston Hull. There's not really been too much change, apart from the obvious one at the lead, where Rachel Anderson took over Gabani. There's not really been too much change in the main positions here. Just 1 length left to go then for Rachel Anderson of Millfields. The officials at the turn end there displaying the big number 1. That's all the swimmer needs to see. That's all they need to know. And in comes Rachel Anderson, final 20 meters or so. And you can see she is well in control of this one. She entered in a time of 9:16.91. She's really well inside that, I think. And she comes then 9:04.59. That's a huge drop for Rachel Anderson of Millfields. Only born in 2002, one of the youngsters here at the Winter Nationals. Abby Bowden comes in second place. Sphera Gabani, they're just slipping away on that 100 meters from second to fifth. Strong finishes from Chloe Stennett in third, and Betsy Wizard in lane 4 finishing in fourth. But fine swim from the outside, an outside smoker, Rachel Anderson taking it from lane 1 in 6:14.91. Great swim. Rachel Anderson there looking pretty pleased. A little bit of tightness probably creeping into the arms as well, no doubt. And there's our On your screen, the results of this one. Rachel Anderson with the win, 9:04.59. Bowden in second, Stennett in third. So a third of the way through our 800-metre freestyle heats this morning. We move ourselves on. This is heat number 2.
Heat 2 of 3 this morning then, underway in the women's 800-metre freestyle. Lane 0, Mia Leach, City of Peterborough. Lane 1, Charlotte Wynne-Jones, City of Milton Keynes. Lane 2, Alicia Dingle, Royal Wolverhampton. Lane 3, Amelia Rodd of Redditch. Lane 4, Millie Boulding, Borough of Kirklees. Lane 5, Tegan Child of Beckenham. Lane 6, Jessica Madonna of Ellesmere. Lane 7, Olivia Butler, City of Bristol. Lane 8, Georgina Dennis of Mount Kelly. And Lane 9, Ella Thatcher-Plant of Wrekin College. And it's a strong start in the centre of the pool for Millie Boulding here. And she is tailed by Amelia Rodd just next to her as well. Also going well, Mia Leach in lane 0 and Ella Thatcher-Plant in lane 9.
Fairly even start in this one, as we might expect. Really spread out across the pool. Don't envy the swimmer in lane 9. That's Ella Thatcher-Plant from Wrekin College. No one to swim inside of her, or of course outside of her. She's only got the wall for company, so she's pretty much swimming out on her own, but doing a very good job of that so far, we have to say. Good start in the middle lane. That's lane number 4. Good start from Millie Boulding from Borough of Kirklees, youngest swimmer in this race, born in 2004. Laura, it's enough to make us commentators feel old.
You're making me feel very old indeed. 2004, goodness me.
Great year. Great year. Started big school in 2004.
Oh, don't you make me feel even older. God, I was in year 10. Giving my age away now. Millie Boulding, though, just born, and today she is here racing the 800 metres and looking very strong indeed. She's come in on a 9:07.85. And Amelia Rodd next to her, 9:08.89. Still going well. Mia Leach, City of Peterborough, 9:14.15. She's come in on. At the moment, if she can stick with the pace set by Boulding in the middle, she could well be on her way to a time much faster than that she's entered on.
Yeah, you will see this over the course of this meet, especially with the longer races. You can see some monumental drops, especially with the youngsters in the 800 and the 1500 for the men as well. The guys and girls in the early heats of those races, you can see some tremendous drops. You saw it in the first race with Rachel Anderson. She took about 12 seconds off her entry time. Huge personal best for her, and that's what these younger swimmers in particular will target. You know, we've talked about how the swimmers targeting Commonwealth times will have to try and peak or come near their peak at this event. The youngsters, this is their big event. Make no mistake about that. While some of the swimmers here will be targeting Commonwealth Games and beyond, the younger swimmers, this is nationals. This is it for them. This is their big event for the end of the year, and they will be trying to swim their very best time on their biggest stage. And you can really see some tremendous drops, and that's what these girls are targeting in the water right now. Millie Boulding going out very nicely indeed, 3:58.29. Mia Leach from the City of Peterborough, swimmer I've seen quite a lot down in the East region of Sir England. She's looking pretty good in lane 0 as well. Breathing to her left, so she's taking a look at the wall there and then out to the right just to check on the swimmers in the middle. She's right up there. She's in with a shout.
Sorry, carry on, Stephen.
At the 400, halfway point, it is Millie Boulding who leads the way. Mia Leach in second place and Amelia Rodd in third.
Thank you. 4:33 then at the 400. I was going to say these really are the glory days for 14, 15, 16-year-olds. It's where you take those chunks of time off that when you get to 18, 19, 20, you wish for. The sort of 10, 12, 20, 25 second even PBs. They are long gone by the time you're grown up and an adult. And certainly these swimmers will be making the most of those PBs now. Mia Leach still going very well indeed and beginning to move away. I think she's got about half a body length or so over Boulding. Rodd staying with them as well. But Mia Leach, if she can keep this up, she'll be looking to not only win the heat, but I'm sure PB as well. And as we mentioned, it's difficult when you are out in front. Depends what kind of swimmer you are. If you prefer swimming at the front of a race and being out in control and having the rest of the field back to catch you, that's certainly how I prefer to swim an 800, was to get out there, lead the way, and then deal with the attacks that would inevitably come. If you prefer to be in the mix and then make your move later in the race, that's what we're seeing. Mia Leach now, though, she's beginning to make her moves now. Because she's in an outside lane, though, she doesn't really have anyone for company. She's looking there to her left. To her right, she's just got the wall, but to her left, as she comes down to the pool this way, she can't see anyone. The swimmer next to her is around about 10, 12 meters back. So actually, she's pretty much on her own. And now it's just about swimming to her rhythm, swimming to her race plan, and knowing, trusting in what she's done in training, and hoping that she's hitting those pace 50s, those pace 100s that she has done week in, week out in training.
Yeah, it's a really good contingent of youngsters, specifically the girls as well at the City of Peterborough squad that have come through in the last few years. Some likes of Molly Allen now at Loughborough University. She's made the step up to uni and gone to Loughborough, but that's a good young section of girls there at City of Peterborough doing some great things in the youth level of swimming. Mia Leach, just another one off the production line at Peterborough. You can see there, just at the bottom of your picture, leading them out in lane 0 and looking really, really strong coming into the latter stages now of this one. Just 150 meters now to go for Mia Leach. Do keep an eye on those middle lanes. They're within striking distance, make no mistake about that. Millie Boulding and Amelia Rodd, they're not too far away. Ella Thatcher-Plant all the way over in lane 9. Talk about swimming out on your own. Ella Thatcher-Plant is doing exactly that. Absolutely no one for company out there. She's doing pretty well in 4. Mia Leach there, just alternating which way she's looking, and she's going to be trying to keep an eye on where the other swimmers are, but I'm not sure she's going to have the vision to be able to peek back and see lane 4. What she will hear, though, no doubt about that, is the bell. Final 100 meters. She knows that whatever happens here is going to take a big comeback for someone to overturn her. She's got to stick out on her own. She's got to keep her race plan together. 8:03.04 with 100 meters left for Mia Leach.
I was going to say, in an outside lane, it actually is very difficult to see. You can kind of see a blur of bodies towards the centre of the pool, so you know where people are, thereabouts, but actually it can be very difficult to know. So it's simply a case of sticking to your race plan and getting into that rhythm that you feel on an 800, on a 400. And then when you hear that bell, it's as though you get this natural second wind. The legs come back into it. You can see Millie Boulding there in the middle. She's beginning to bring that leg kick in. A big splash going on behind her as we watch all the swimmers take that final turn. Got to say, Mia Leach very disciplined off the wall, under the water as well, and that's played dividend to her today. She'll be saving precious seconds each time she makes it under the flags, kicking hard off the wall. Coming under the flags then, the field has closed on her. That sprint for second and third, but Mia Leach takes it 9:11.99. We said it would be quick for for Mia Leach. She's 3 seconds or so, 2.5 seconds quicker than her entry time. Millie Balding takes second, 9:13.56. Amelia Rodd third, 9:13.71.
Yeah, fine swim that from Mia Leach. 9:11.99. Did drop her entry time, which is what she'll have been targeting. And using the wall for a little bit of a resting point there. And Mia, you have earned that. Fine swim. 9:11.99, the winning time in heat number 2. Just one more individual race to come then this morning, and it is heat number 3 in the women's 800-metre freestyle. That is on the way. Here we go then in this final heat. Pretty much a full complement in the pool, barring lane 0. So we start with lane 1. That's Alicia Hawkins. She's swimming from Stockport Metro. Caitlin McKay from Wickham District goes in 2. Fleur Lewis from Barnet Copthall is in 3. Melanie Hall is in the middle lane from Hillingdon. Amelia Sansom from Wickham District goes in 5. Michaela Glenister from City of Leicester swims in 6. Philda Britton from Wandsworth is in 7. Rose Foden from Bath University is in 8. And Freya Colbert from Nova Centurion goes in lane 9. And a strong start we made in one of the outside lanes. That's lane 8. Rose Foden from Bath Uni has gone out pretty quickly on this one. And as we've been mentioning throughout this little session of 800s, different races, different needs, essentially. To paraphrase David Brent, it's different tactics are approaching this race, and in lane 8, Rose Foden has gone out pretty quickly. And for example, in the middle lanes, lane 4, Melanie Hall from Hillingdon, quickest entrant into this race, she's taken it out pretty steadily. Just got to wait and see, really, see how this race develops.
And you know, for some of these swimmers, it may be the end of perhaps a three-month cycle or so, but actually they only got back in the pool, say, September, and they will have taken some time off in the summer. Every swimmer needs to have at least 2 weeks or so off away from the pool, just enjoying themselves and taking time out. That's as important as actually training day in, day out. So for some of these swimmers, this meet very much early on in the season as a whole, as we look at it as a whole before Christmas. They won't take off anywhere near as much time over Christmas or over Easter as they have done in the summer. And so for these swimmers, they will just be easing back into the racing and getting used to going fast again. And you'll hope through each of the cycles they go through the different sections of the season, they'll start to fine-tune those fast twitch muscles. They'll start to just get that 6th gear going. Although saying that, we are seeing some great PBs from some of the junior swimmers racing here, and that's exactly what the National Winter Championships are all about. Of course, usually a 25-metre short course event at the end of the season. Here it's long course. Commonwealth Games places are at stake, and later on this evening we'll be live on BBC Sport, on the website, Connected TV and the app. And we'll be bringing you the fastest heat of this 800-metre freestyle, featuring, well, the likes of Holly Hibbert, Danielle Huskinson, Alice Deering, Leah Crisp, and Hannah Miley as well. Good to see her trying out a few different events here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see Hannah Miley go here in the 800. Such a versatile swimmer, of course. I'm fairly sure she swam the 50 fly yesterday, but she really is one of the most versatile swimmers out there. Just loves swimming. 3-time Olympian. And it's a sort of clash of experience versus youth as well. Hannah Miley, superb swimmer, been there and done it on every possible international scene. And Holly Hibbert, one of the up-and-comers, maybe the next big thing in the 800, who knows, from Stockport Metro, just had her 18th birthday yesterday.
Just looking at their years of birth, actually, Hannah Miley doing it for those born in '89, like me. Holly Hibbert, 10 years younger, 1999 she's born in. So you're right, very much a wide array of ages in that final heat. In this heat now, though, we've got Hawkins, who's really begun to make her moves coming up to the 400-metre mark, the halfway point of this final heat of the 800-metre freestyle this morning, before we see the fastest swimmers race later on. Alicia Hawkins and Caitlin McKay just next to her, those two at the moment leading this one out, but it is a closer heat than we've seen in the last two. Fleur Lewis in lane 3, leading the rest of the pool to her right as she's coming up to the scoreboard end now. Britain in lane 7 moving up there as well, but it is close, and no one swimmer that far ahead or that far back at the moment.
Yeah, very handy race this being swum on this near side in particular, in lane number 1. Alicia Hawkins, the blue cap of Stockport Metro, similar to the city of Peterborough. A really good crop of girls that have come through at Stockport Metro in recent years. Talk of Holly Hibbert, she's come through there, Katie Matz as well. Alicia Hawkins in this race swimming very, very nicely indeed. It is strange how often that tends to happen at a youth level. A group of swimmers come through at similar times. They all spur each other on, they all make each other quicker in similar events, and that's certainly what's happened at Stockport Metro. We saw their relay team look pretty solid yesterday, picking up the gold medal in the 4x1 freestyle. No great surprise to anyone who's clocked Stockport Metro's progress over the last few years. Really good group of young girls in particular there. And Alicia Hawkins leads this one out as we approach another turn at the scoreboard end. That's 500 metres now, and Hawkins leads the way, not by a lot though. Less than a tenth of a second separating her and Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall.
I'd imagine the competition in training for clubs like Peterborough, Stockport Metro, that will really spur these girls on, and it will push them to get better and better and better. They'll be training with each other 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, 6 days a week. They will know each other inside out, and that will just keep them ticking along nicely and pushing each other to bettering and bettering themselves, and hopefully here at the National Winter Championships, PBing as well. Fleur Lewis just taking control here from lane 3. Interestingly, the time at the 400 to note 4:30, they split that one in. Fleur Lewis now just moving up steadily through. As we said earlier, it's interesting to see where swimmers choose to really pace their efforts through this 800. And for many, when you do come off that 400 metre, you've got to almost treat it like another 400 metres. You've got to either split the race into 4 200s, 2 400s, however you want to play it. You've got to hit that second 400 hard, and it's that third 200 within the race where you've got to hang on or make your move, because that's where things will really start to happen, as we're seeing now. Fleur Lewis coming through, and she's taken a body length out of the girls next to her in lane 1 and lane 2. The early leader, Hawkins and McKay, who was second at the halfway point, also going well now. In lane 7 is Britain of Wandsworth. She's beginning to move into contention, as is Samson as well in lane 5. This race really beginning to hot up as they come up towards the turn here. All very much going Fleur Lewis's way though at the moment. And they will hear the bell, and I'll tell you, when you hear that noise, it's a very welcome sound in an 800 metre freestyle, and it also gives you a bit of adrenaline, a bit of something to kick again and to go again, because you know you're a minute 10, a minute 5 outside of finishing and getting to that wall. And it's all about hanging on if you've got the lead, or giving absolutely everything, throwing the kitchen sink at it to make sure you pull yourself into contention and get the best time possible out of a heat swim.
Yeah, this has been an impressive one. Just 50 metres left to go then for Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall. And not too far behind, lane 7, Filda Britton from Wandsworth, looking to time this one to perfection, making moves as well. In 5 is Amelia Sanson from Wickham District. They're the leading contenders. Can they catch Fleur Lewis in lane 3 is the question. Fleur came into this event with a time of 9.38. Can she dip under the 9-minute mark. She'd love to. It's going to be fairly close. Might just miss out on it. In fact, she will, but it's pretty good swim nevertheless, this for Fleur Lewis. In she comes, 9:03.31, still very, very good indeed. Amelia Sansom, 9:04.13. Philippa Britton in third. Alicia Hawkins comes up in fourth. Caitlin McKay in fifth. As all our swimmers start to come in now. Melanie Hall sixth. Michaela Glenn seventh. Freya Colbert just behind her and coming in to complete the race in lane 8. Rose Foden, who started so quickly, ends up in last position there with 9:24.34. But Fleur Lewis takes the win in heat number 3. Those are the confirmed results. And that was the final individual race of the morning. In fact, the penultimate race of the morning in total. In fact, only one heat of the men's 400-metre freestyle team event. That's coming up next and always worth a watch, so do stick with us for that one.
Yeah, almost time for the relays. So much fun to watch. We see now the lads lining up, and we throw down to this heat of the men's 4x100 freestyle relay.
Away we go then in the relay. Off and racing. Men's 400-metre freestyle team events. Lane 1 is Bolton Metro. 2, City of Oxford. 3 is Plymouth Leander. 4, City of Peterborough. 5 goes Hatfield. 6 is Hales Owen. 7, Mount Kelly. And 8 is Pioneer 79. This just heat number 1. We've also in the final tonight, so they're jostling for lane position here. We'll take a look. It's a bit of a gambling game here because they all know they're going to make the final later on. This is just all about how much they fancy giving in the heat, really. How much they've got in the tank that they feel they can reserve for tonight. And it's Pioneer 79 who've taken them out from the outside lane. City of Peterborough now take over in second place. Hales Owen in third. And just a quick reminder, actually, haven't yet announced this. We do have a swim-off coming up after this. Anna Dewhurst from Anaconda and Amy Grant for Loughborough in the 50 metres freestyle. That's replacing the B final, so do stick with us for that. Swim off coming up in the 50 free. That's after this 400-metre relay. Pioneer 79 still lead the way from Peterborough and from Hales Owen.
Worth noting, of course, that actually for some of these swimmers, they will be replaced in the final later, and they'll see some of the stronger swimmers who perhaps have had heat swims and then maybe final swims later. That Holly Hibbert last night was brought into the Stockport Metro squad after she had swum her 200 free, dipping under that consideration time to consolidate her place in that Commonwealth team. You will see swimmers drafted into the final. For some of these guys, it's going to be about making sure they give their team, their club, the best possible position, the best platform to strike for glory in the relay final later on tonight. Pioneer 79 then still leading the way. City of Peterborough second, Mount Kelly third, Hales Owen in fourth, and that stays pretty much the same at this split time at 250 metres. Halfway through the third leg here, before the fourth swimmer gets ready on the block to bring it home. Got to make sure as well takeovers are safe. You do not want to be the swimmer responsible for disqualifying your club.
It has happened before, disqualification.
It happened yesterday in the girls' relays, it did, yeah.
Absolutely.
It is painful. But there we go, taking over the lead then here, City of Peterborough coming through very strongly indeed. Pioneer 79 after a fast start, sticking in there. Mount Kelly clinging on to their coattails as well, just 0.04 behind. They'll be dragged along here. It looks as though Mount Kelly actually from our camera angle here, making some tracks, and indeed they are, potentially moving themselves into contention for the win here. It looks as though they will turn first up in lane 7. City of Peterborough in lane 4. Second, Pioneer 79. Third, and that's the way it's looking down this final length.
Yeah, really nicely done this from Mount Kelly. It's going to be fairly close, though, for the finish. They brought themselves right into contention. You can see there in your shot, all 3 swimmers right up with this. Mount Kelly, though, the favourites as we come in towards the final 5 metres. They're just going to edge out Pioneer 79 and City of Peterborough, though. It is Mount Kelly who get there. Pioneer 79 second, City of Peterborough third, City of Oxford 4th, Halezone 5th, Hatfield 6th, Plymouth Leander 7th, and coming in to complete the race is Bolton Metro. So Mount Kelly secure prime position for the finals tonight. Nicely done indeed. The team from Mount Kelly.
It's quite a buzz as well, being the last swimmer in and diving in perhaps 3rd, 4th place, coming out, touching the wall and seeing you've pulled your team into 1st place. Quite the buzz, that is indeed. So well done to Mount Kelly and their anchor swimmer there as well. Pioneer 79 as well, led most of the way, still up there. They'll be in lane 5 later. City of Peterborough will be in lane 3.
And don't forget, we do have a swim-off. Eleanor Dewhurst versus Amy Grant. Anaconda versus Loughborough for a place in the B final in the 50-metre freestyle. So this is a good opportunity for both of these girls to make the B final. Something on the line for Eleanor Dewhurst and Amy Grant. And this is the swim-off. And away we go then. Placing the B final up for grabs. Eleanor Dewhurst in 4, Amy Grant in 5. So near side is Dewhurst, far side Amy Grant in the black cap there, and just about ahead is Amy Grant of Loughborough Anacondas. Eleanor Dewhurst looking to stick with Amy Grant, but she might just have a little bit too much power hit in towards the wall. We can. It's Amy Grant, not by a lot, but by enough. 26.42. She wins the swim off by about 0.4 of a second. Pretty comfortable swim in the end for Amy Grant, and she's pretty pleased with that as well. She will make the B final, and we will see her later on this evening. Good swim from Amy Grant of Loughborough University. Confirmed times 26.42, 26.81 for Eleanor Dewhurst. Not a bad swim at all, but not quite enough to overturn Amy Grant of Loughborough. So that's the end of the racing here, at least for the morning session. Do join me later on, live on BBC Sport, on the website, on the app, on connected TVs, on the red button, from 4:50 p.m. We have the men's 100-metre breaststroke, women's 100 back, men's 200 free, women's 50 free, men's 400 IM, and the women's 800-metre finals, as well as that relay final as well. That is all to come live on the BBC from 4:50 this afternoon. In the venue, though, it is time to thank our officials for their hard work this morning. We will see you later on, ladies and gents. Officials, you may leave the poolside.